3.10 Interview with Kate Adie.
I think a lot of people think the world is an alien and rather frightening place. I could even say that perhaps the kind of reporting I've done has reinforced that, having been to quite a lot of the difficult, violent, and sometimes rather risky situations, which I'm afraid human life throws up. But I take the opposite view. Even in the worst of situations, people show extraordinary resources of concern, friendliness and kindness. In the middle of a riot, someone will help you. In a strange place where you don't even know a word of the language, a kind person will give you a helping hand. I'm an optimist. I'm someone who believes that there's more good than bad in the world.
That's very refreshing to hear, especially these days with every single thing you ever hear is a down and about ghastliness and horrible people.
One of the biggest stories I did was a massacre where an army opened fire on unarmed people, students and ordinary citizens, without good reason, purely because the old regime disliked protest. Mm-hmm. And terrible things happened on the night in June. I was there as a reporter alongside a lot of others, but the night it happened, the midnight when the tanks came in, we went out, my crew and I, and we saw people shot round us. How we weren't shot is a matter of pure luck. And time and again, people grabbed hold of our arm, waved to us, beckoned, hid us behind a wall, shouted warnings, which we didn't understand, but knew the secret police were after us, or there was a tank coming. And these people shielded us, helped us, and on 2 occasions actually beat off the police from attacking us and taking our cameras. I owe my lives to these unknown people. I mean, that is the extreme of kindness. So you get this kind of behaviour, and it's happened to me in all the worst of places.
So give us another example of some kindness of strangers during your career.
I was in the Gulf War. I was with 48,000 men of 7th Armoured Brigade and the British Army in the middle of a desert, and I was the only woman. And they were great towards me, tolerating the only woman who was in the frontline troops. And there was a lot of pressure and a lot of extraordinarily vicious, misogynistic press at home about what's that woman doing there. So I felt quite a lot of responsibility. I found myself in a tent one day and they were throwing gas at us. And I was very bothered. And an older officer came up to me and he just said very quietly, "Don't worry, we'll get you through it. You're not going to fail. We're going to make sure you can do it." It was wonderful. It was just what I needed. I thought, I'm not on my own. I'm not. And it was wonderful. And it's that sort of little remark that got me through.
Fantastic.
And another moment I remember. At 3 one morning, I was in Belfast during a major riot during the Troubles. And there was everything coming down the road, sticks, rocks, bricks, rubber bullets, and everybody was very bad-tempered. And I stepped backwards and I fell in a hedge in the dark. And never fall in a privet hedge in the dark because you can't get out. I completely panicked and I entwined with the privet hedge and was stuck there. And I heard a window above me, above the sound of everything that was going on, squeak open. And there was a habit sometimes of attacking people by pouring boiling water on them. That happened sometimes in the midst of trouble. And I thought, what next? I was frozen. And a voice from the window said, "You stand there. You want a cup of tea?"
Have you encountered the kindness of strangers outside your professional life?
If a correspondent is resident in a particular country for a long time, they become much more conscious of what everyday life is like, and that people are just like them, have trouble paying their bills, complain about the bus service, and cannot get through the bureaucracy of their government. We all go through so many of the same things, and underneath the weirdness, the difference, the language, the climate, all of this, there's a very common thread, and often it's kindness.
That's so lovely to hear. And tell me, since writing that book, is your optimism still there? Do you still feel that you are surrounded by the kindness of strangers, or do you have a pessimism about the way that mankind is going and their relationships with each other?
I'm afraid I have a hard-headed historical view of that, and that is that war and conflict have been part of humankind and nature. There are major wars and territorial battles happen with almost every creature that's on this earth. So you have to be an optimist that we can find a way through it. I'm not a pessimist about it. I'm still very hopeful. I'm aware that smart philosophers will tell you today that the idea of us all getting more tolerant is probably not entirely natural, that we go 2 steps forward and 1 step back. If you look back 2,000 years and more, you hope that we have the brains and education and technology now to keep it getting better for the large number of people. But you've got to have your fingers crossed and you've got to work at it.
Well, on that optimistic and kind note, Kate Adie, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see if you can remember, you could answer this question. So whatever it comes to your mind, and if you remember, why does the interview think that Kate says is refreshing? Why? Any particular reason that Kate says refreshing? Anything you could remember, guys? No?
Because everything that she heard is negative and about glass lines and horrible people, I think.
All right.
And she are optimist or a
Okay.
kindness in a of people in center of war.
All right. In what ways did people help her during the protests? She got really into a problem. She was in the middle of a protest. How did the other people help her get out of that situation? Do you remember?
Because the police was recollected her cameras.
Mhm. Not taking their cameras away, not taking their cameras away. But how did people help her? She was protected, no? People protected her. Where was she when there was a lot of pressure and a lot of extraordinary, vicious, misogynist press at home? And who was she with? Number 3.
In a Gulf War.
Yeah. Do you agree? Anybody else?
She was in the middle of the desert.
Oh, she was in the middle of the desert. Okay. Who was she with?
She was with 48,000 men of 7 Arnold Ridge.
Okay. Which act of kindness is both frightening and funny? Number 4. Anything you can remember? Okay, so number 5, the interview says that's lovely to hear. What is it? No?
The people all over the world have a common trait, the sheer difference of language, climate, I don't know.
Okay, number 6, we go a step forward and one step back. What is she referring to? What does this refer to? Hello?
About the people becoming more tolerant.
Could be. And finally, the last question. Does she believe absolutely that the world will get better? Or not really?
I don't remember why, but I heard something I know because I don't
Because
remember.
the technology and education.
It's improving. Mhm.
Mm.
All right. Okay, guys. So these are the answers because everything we hear now is negative and ghastliness and horrible people. No, she's an optimist and has experienced friendliness and kindness to the worst situation, not to the worst situation. People grab hold of him, wave her, become to them, hit them behind the wall, shouted, warning these people, shield them. To summarize all of this, she was protected by other people, no, from a dangerous situation, and from their attacking their cameras, no, taking their cameras. She was in the middle of the desert. Yes, thank you. Gulf War, exactly, with 48,000 men, no, and the British Army, and she was the only woman. Number 4, she was fell in the private bush like a riot. You know what is rioting? Like doing acts of vandalism, rioting. Yeah, it's always against the government, and not only the government. It means they destroyed the people who vandalize shops and houses. Yeah. Mhm. And the mayor riot and voice from a window above her offer her a cup of tea. Would you like a cup of tea? Mhm. Number 5, that people all over the world have a common threat despite difference of language, climate, and that is kindness. No, a common threat, a common objective, a common thing to do in this world. And she's referring to people becoming more tolerant. No, nowadays people are becoming more tolerant, so it's not the old-fashioned ways. Well, some countries in the Middle East, they still have their own traditions and they would like to preserve it like that, but in general, as we advance more or as the years fly by, then people are more tolerant. No? And number 7, no, because she has her fingers crossed. No, as she said, we've got to work at it. We've got to work at it. Mhm. Because nowadays, because of the pandemic, you know that now there is a hate against Chinese people and Asians race, and we shouldn't be like that. And I know that it happened, but it could have happened to other countries as well, not only China, but other countries. And we should be more tolerant. Mhm. Very good. Okay, so we won't do this part. What do you think? So let's go to the next page. Yeah, everyday English, showing more interest and surprise. Yeah, Listen to the conversation, more listening practice, write the B's answers. How does she show interest and surprise? Maybe it's a word, maybe it's kind of a expression question. Yeah. Mhm. So listen.
3.11. Showing interest and surprise.
Jade's got a new boyfriend. Has she? Good for her. Apparently, he lives in a castle. A castle? How amazing! Yes, she met him in Slovenia. Did she? That's interesting. Unfortunately, he can't speak much English. Can't he? Well, as long as he can say, I love you.
One more time.
Yes, teacher, please.
3.11. Showing interest and surprise.
Jade's got a new boyfriend. Has she? Good for her. Apparently, he lives in a castle. A castle? How amazing! Yes, she met him in Slovenia. Did she? That's interesting. Unfortunately, he can't speak much English. Can't he? Well, as long as he can say, I love you.
Okay, so Jade's got a new boyfriend. What?
Has she?
How did she reply?
Has she?
Has she? Exactly. Go to her. Apparently, he lives in a castle.
A castle?
He lives in a castle. A castle? Amazing. Yes, she met him in Slovenia.
Did
Did
she?
she?
Did she? That's interesting. Unfortunately, he can't speak much English.
Can she?
Can't
Can
he?
he?
Can he? Well, as long as he can say I love you, it doesn't matter. He's got a castle and she would like to live like a princess, no? These kind of questions are called echo questions, or yeah, and reply questions, no? For example, in order not to repeat again what your friend said, then we can use these kind of questions depending on the tense. For example, if it's in present, in this case, it's in present simple. Well, not present simple, is present perfect, but it means has, no? Yeah, so Jane's got a new bird. Has she? And the intonation is a bit different because, you know, between among friends, we banter and we gossiping all the time. We gossip all the time, and then we have to make an emphasis on now. Has she? A castle? We say, did she? She met him in Slovenia. It's past simple. Then you have to make the questions as if it were in past. No, did she? What is the auxiliary in past simple? Did, no, did she? And we're referring to that friend. No, unfortunately, he can't speak a word much English. Sorry. Then we have to, can he? Repeat again. Can he? No? Well, as long as he can say I love you, no? So those are called echo questions. Echo questions. Okay, you're going to practice that in a moment. So I will share this for you with your partner. No? Complete the conversation with either an echo question or a reply question, like the ones that you had here, but you have to do it like that. Now let's do one. Okay, so she wants to apologize. What could be here? Sam wants to apologize. It is in present, so the auxiliary will be, does he? Does he? Why? He's broken your mother's Chinese bed. Has he? Has he? Or the Chinese face? Oh no, the Chinese. You have either two options not here. So try to do it as a echo question, yeah, or a reply question. No. I repeat again, Sam wants to pull it out. Does he? He's broken your mother Chinese. The Chinese base? Oh no. Or also you could say has he? No, has he. All right. I hope you can see all these. So try to do it, but I'll give you, is that okay? 3 minutes, 4 minutes? It's just an equal question or a reply, not like the ones that you have before. 3 minutes, and I will play the listening, so in order for you to check. Okay, let's listen.
3.12 Echo and reply questions. 1,
Sam wants to apologise.
Does he? Why?
Well, he's broken your mother's Chinese vase.
My mother's Chinese vase? Oh no.
2,
We had a terrible holiday.
Did you?
Yes, it rained all the time.
Did it? How awful.
Yes, and the food was disgusting.
Was it? What a disaster.
3,
I'm broke.
Are you? How come?
Well, I had a £500 vet's bill for my dog.
£500? Poor Ziggy. What happened?
He was attacked by another dog in the park.
Another dog? Where was the owner?
4,
It took me 3 hours to get here.
3 hours? But it's only 10 miles.
Yes, but there was a huge traffic jam on the motorway.
Was there? That's awful.
We didn't move at all for 2 hours.
Didn't you? I bet you were really fed up.
5,
I'm on a mountain, watching the sunset.
Oh, are you? How lovely.
It is. And I've got something to ask you.
Have you? Is it important?
Yes. You see, I'd like to marry you.
Marry me? Wow. How romantic.
Wow. Okay, one more time.
3.12 Echo and reply questions. 1,
Sam wants to apologise.
Does he? Why?
Well, he's broken your mother's Chinese vase.
My mother's Chinese vase? Oh no.
2,
We had a terrible holiday.
Did you?
Yes, It rained all the time.
Did it? How awful.
Yes, and the food was disgusting.
Was it? What a disaster.
3.
I'm broke.
Are you? How come?
Well, I had a £500 vet's bill for my dog.
£500? Poor Ziggy. What happened?
He was attacked by another dog in the park.
Another dog? Where was the owner?
4.
It took me 3 hours to get here.
3 hours? But it's only 10 miles.
Yes, but there was a huge traffic jam on the motorway.
Was there? That's awful.
We didn't move at all for 2 hours.
Didn't you? I bet you were really fed up.
5.
I'm on a mountain, watching the sunset.
Oh, are you? How lovely.
It is. And I've got something to ask you.
Have you? Is it important?
Yes. You see, I'd like to marry you.
Marry me? Wow. How romantic.
But he didn't take her with him. Don't ask. He shouldn't have done that. It is him face to face, no, not on the phone. Not on the phone. I wouldn't do that if I were him. Alright, so with this we finished the everyday English. Then as you can see, we finished the book and we finished the course, obviously. Yeah, so but before we're gonna do some pages before we finish the class and things. So here are the answers for so Sam does he my mother's vase? My mother's vase. Oh no, we had a broke. Sorry, we had a terrible day. Did you? It rained all day. Yes. Did it? How awful. Yes. And who was this? Was it? No, I'm broke. Are you? £400. Another dog? No. Remember, these are eco questions. No. 3 hours. Was there? Didn't you? Are you? Have you? Marry me? Oh, I don't want. Marry me. Okay. You're gonna practice later on. Okay, so let's go back a bit. Yeah, let's go back a bit, and we're going to do these pages that we haven't finished there. Just let me change my view here. It says here, Airport Security Officer Act of Kindness. No? News stories are usually bad news, but here are 4 good news stories. Look at the photo and the headlines. The other says £5 notes hidden in books. £5 notes, you know, the billete notes hidden in books. More, no parking ticket for sick baby's mom. Yeah, no parking ticket.
Tell me which page, please.
Sorry, I forgot to say 32 and 33. 32 and 33. And
Thanks.
then finally, the other news headline is Boss lifted by 100 Londoners. 100 Londoners. All right, so look quickly the stories. Answer the questions about each. All right, so let's read it together. The first one. Who would like to read? Natha? Yes. The first one.
Yes.
Without the answers in the respuesta, no importa.
Airport Security Officers Act of Kindness. Canadian artist Maudie Gawet had forgotten the airport rules about taking liquids onto the plane. So when she got to airport security, however, when she returned a week later, a security officer with her paints, not only had he kept them safe for her, he also looked up her He also looked at her return date so he could meet her. Maudie was amazed.
It was nice. Okay, what about this one? 500 notes hidden in books. Who would like to read? This is me. Anyone here for reading this? Chris Topping, Liverpool. Okay.
Christophe for Liverpool, England. Some children's books in his local Waterstones bookshop. When in the page of one, he came across a €5 note and an animal's message. Hi, if you find this money, then know the universe is smiling at you. Have a great day. Chris said the note, so he used the money to buy sandwiches and drinks for some homeless people he'd seen on the street. He hoped that would please the animal's donor.
Yes, he hoped that would be pleased the anonymous donor, the person who donated that £5, no euros, pounds.
Okay.
Then next, no parking ticket here. A new mom in Canberra. Daniel, can you read it? A new mom in Canberra.
A new mom in Canberra, Australia, with her sick baby boy. She returned to her car after being discharged and discovered that she parking ticket, but when she opened the envelope on her windscreen, she discovered a note from a kind lady called Laura. Laura had seen the ticket and written, "I'm sure whatever you were going through in hospital was so enough. So I paid it for you. Hope things get better."
And then we have bus lifted by 100 Londoners. Ricardo, please, a crowd of Londoners.
A crowd of Londoners to lift up a double-decker bus when a cyclist has become trapped beneath it. Amazing pictures, amazing pictures on YouTube showed about 100 commuters in East London lifting in the huge 212 bus when Anthony Shields and knocked off his bike. Anthony spent a month in hospital but has now recovered completely. He said he was moved to tears when he watched the video of his rescue.
Commuters are people who go to work every day, go to school or work every day. As you can see, there are missing some. There are gaps over there, and these gaps, these lines have been taken from the text. Where do they go? Then we have here letter A to H. Had been browsing, had been given, had been hit, had been staying in hospital, had made him smile, was forced to give up her painting supplies, and was waiting for her in the baggage room. Work together. As you can see, different tenses. There are different tenses, past tenses, not only past perfect, but also past continuous, as well as past perfect in passive voice. Yeah, for example, had been browsing, it's past perfect continuous, no? Had been given, in this case, it is past perfect in passive voice. Had been hit as well, passive voice. Had been staying, past continuous. Yeah, had made, normal, have normal past past perfect. Sorry, was forced, it is passive voice in past simple. Yeah, was waiting, past continuous only. Yeah, no passive. And work together. No, so these lines go in each texts. So I would like you to have a moment and try to complete them. Unfortunately, I can't. This is all the pages. So I will take photos of those in order for you to answer. Okay, just keep. I will share this with you. Hope you can see them. My phone doesn't take photos really accurate. Okay, I will share to the group so you can have the same. Okay, so we still have 2 more minutes. Yeah, 2 more minutes to try to do this exercise. After we finish this session, we'll have a break about 20 minutes. Yeah, so at 10:40 you connect again. Yes, at 10:40. But try to do as much as possible. Yeah, match the lines with the texts that you have there.
Okay. I will give you the first answers from this. Airport security officers. No, the first gap is letter F. Letter F. She was forced to give up her painting supplies. No, letter F. And the second one is letter G. She was waiting for her in the baggage room. Yeah, the airport, letter F and letter G. Okay. Okay, so see you at 10:40.